Okay, mark on. Okay, so I'm just going to continue from where I stopped. Apologies, I think it was network. My network, my network failed me at a point. I want to believe we are back now. Okay, so I was talking about technical interviews. So if there was something that you, so this is going to be like a part two. That is already recorded. So if you were given a technical question, I was stating an example with myself a few days ago. All I needed to do is ask that they should give me like 1-2 minutes so I can take a paper and a pen and jot down, you know, and jot down the question, right? And then I will ask, restate the problem in your words, ensure that you understand. Because the moment they ask you a technical interview and you just assume you understand while you did not understand, that gives a very bad impression. Ensure that you understand the question. You can rephrase, you can re-ask, all right, that, okay, what is this about? All right. If, for example, it's not as if you did a technical interview first before you doing the oral, before you do the oral, let's say it's a joint interview. So that's that about that. Then ask clarifying questions. You know, if you're asking about SQL, write a code, or for example, write a Python code, ensure you clarify. Ensure you clarify. Don't assume. Hmm? And start with the simplest solution. Hmm? Start with the simplest solution, then optimize. That is for technical. But for me, I don't think I won't dwell much on this because I want to believe we don't have issues with the technical side of things. More of what we need to find a way around is um, the behavioral side of things, approach to interviews. The first 5 minutes, introduce yourself, you know, and the likes. All right. So for technical, I think we are good. It's just for you to ensure that when you are asked a technical question, if it is is an analytics question, ensure you also think about the business side. What will be the end goal? What will be the benefit? All right. Yeah. Let me move to the next slide. This is still just talking to technical questions. So, say for example, you have this kind of technical question. Find the second highest salary in the table. There are two approaches, right? But discussion point will be how would each approach handle duplicate salary? Which solution is more efficient for data jet? How will you modify this query to find the highest salary? Say for example, which solution is more efficient? You should, as a data professional, right, tell your interviewer why the approach you are currently using is the best, or why one approach is better than the other. So let me give you an example. So say for example now, they ask you a technical question to mention two ways you can optimize a database. Just they said mention two ways. And then you, as a technical data analyst, data engineer, data scientist, all right, you just mentioned that, oh, yes, one way to optimize database is by partitioning the table. All right. Another way is by indexing. You are right. You are correct. But is that the best way to answer the question? No. Now, after mentioning that the two ways you can optimize the database is by partitioning, maybe the date, and then indexing. Now, you should go further and say, oh, especially if you are working with date, you partition the date. Then, if um you are working with IDs, you use the indexing. But for best results, you can use both. You can use both indexing and partitioning. That alone makes the interviewer understand that you understand what you are doing. It's not just about, oh, I've answered the question. You went ahead and detailed that answer, that okay, this is why partitioning is good. It helps to, split your tables into chunks, so that when you are querying, it goes faster. You just go to, like, it's just like a catalog. You just go to that catalog straight away. Just imagine that this is how partitioning works, right? Just imagine you went to a library in your school, and you are just, for me in Funab now, while I was in Funab, please let me know if you can hear me clearly in the comment section. Thank you. While I was in Funab, the library is big. You can't just go into the library and say, oh yeah, let me look for the textbook I'm looking for. You will find it, but it might take you 4 hours. Or let's not exaggerate too much. Let's say 1 hour. But there is always a catalog section in the library that guides you. You can just go there straight away and say, okay, this is where journals are, this is where chemistry textbooks are, this is where mathematics textbooks are, and then instantly you go to that section of the library and you find what you are looking for. That is partitioning. So look at this explanation now. You are telling, you get, you are telling someone, you are telling your interviewer, you are explaining at this detail level that, yeah, this is why partitioning is important. Now, why when do I use it? Oh, because my data is big, and the volume of data that is being requested for per time is much. So partitioning will help me chunk those tables so that I can query faster. It makes more sense than just answering the question when the interviewer says, okay, give me 2 ways you can optimize the database. And you just said, oh, it's by partitioning and by indexing the database. Correct, but is that detail? No. Someone that just made mention of those two, and then someone that gave detail, they are two different candidates. Everyone, I repeat, every interviewer or every panel that interviews you love, and likes people who are detailed, who go above and beyond. It shows the interest. All right. So that's about technical. If you have missed the previous sessions, I've talked about the mindset, that mindset is very key. Go there confident. Some of us are gentle, we are melancholic, some of us are introvert. We say we don't want to talk about ourselves, we don't want to blow our trumpet. I was talking to someone yesterday and he said, yeah, I've mastered SQL yesterday. I've mastered SQL, I've mastered Python, I mastered Excel, but I'm finding it difficult to get opportunities. Then I told him, if there is one thing, put yourself out there. He said, I'm shy. No, if you are hungry, do you say I'm shy? Does shyness recognize hunger? Does hunger recognize shyness? If you are hungry, you are hungry. So, apologies, please. Let me lose my paper. So, if you know that hunger does not recognize shyness, then go out of your shell. Don't say, I've done the work, but I don't want to shout so that they won't say I'm talking too much. No, if you've done that great project, speak about it. It has worked for me a lot of times. People say, Michael, some top people will just call me, Michael, I just want you to refer me to people, or Michael, I want you to help me with this. I will say, how? But I ensure that everything I do, I blow my trumpet. And that's why I advocate that be active on your LinkedIn, share your work, or in your interview, blow your trumpet, all that you've done. Every details matters. If you are someone that maybe you've been given a task and you close it very late and you went home to continue, let them know that you have that passion. You are someone that have energy to work beyond, above and beyond. I'm telling you this because I've experienced it when I was handling these interviews I talk about. Immediately they started talking, I can see the energy. Imagine someone just say, okay, I can't hear your question very well. Can you repeat it? 1 minute. Okay, come again. That nonchalant attitude, it already puts off the interviewer. So, but that energy, okay, yeah, I got, yeah, this is what I've done, and this is the projects I've done. These are the results. And I've also, for those that are just joining, I've talked about the basics that are very simple. Your camera, on it. Know that you are using a good, you are in a meeting. Someone in one of that interview I told you, someone was in the market say she was at the balcony. We already sent you an invite for about 2 3 days ago, and you joined the meeting and you were in the balcony and say, hey Ayo, please, I'm coming back. I said, please, let me, give me 1 minute, let me go to a silent place. That alone, the panel and all that. So ensure you are set. Your camera, if your background is not good, I said use a blurry background or you use a template from Google and everything. Your mic, everything is good. Your on your camera, ensure you are composed. Dress well. Impression matters. Dress well. Don't just say dress well. Wear your best, especially if it is virtual. Wear your best of clothes. We are going. Dress well. Dress well. Use the right deodorant or perfume if it's a physical interview. Don't just dress haphazardly or anyhow. I've gone to an interview and the interviewer said, that guy stinks. Very good guy, but because there is body odor, there is a lot of, so, and that was how he was rejected of the word of that job. Understand that people use emotion when employing. Add some level of diplomacy to your session during interview. When I say diplomacy, if you see the charisma of the person interview you, that this person is someone that loves someone that is composed, you too kind of position yourself that way. That is diplomacy. I can tell you for free that in any workplace you cannot take out politics. So you must know how to play your game as well, and it starts from your interview. So I think that's just like just stating all that I've said before. All right. Let's go to the next slide now. I want us to wrap up very quickly. This part is very important, the behavioral questions. And I know you all will agree with me that a lot of questions come from this side, saying behavioral question. Can you describe a time when you were given a task and you didn't finish it? Do you know your approach? That is behavioral questions. What was your approach? Can you give a time when you led a team and your team members were giving you problems? How did you handle it? Let me give you an example. Behavioral questions are very key. All right. Let me give you an example before I talk about STAR method. Now, I did an interview some years ago. I was leading a team of 4. And then in that my team, a lot of them were giving me issues. So they asked me in an interview that, can you tell me a time you led a team and the issues you had? And then with the issues you had, sorry about that. So and I said, there was a time, I was just so blunt that there was a time my guys were giving me issues in my team. They were not submitting report on time, and they were not really getting what I was doing. So it's really slowing me down, and I was not really happy. Yes, that was what really happened. I was trying to be truthful. And then I was trying to be truthful, and then I was trying to portray myself as, yes, oga know all, I'm brilliant. So my subordinate are not performing well, so I'm brilliant. No, you don't approach a behavioral interview like that. Even if the outcome was not sweet, find a way to ensure that you give it a very sweet outcome. So let me now tell you, afterwards, after some years, I attended another interview, and they asked that same question. That, tell me a time you led the team and maybe you had issues with the team, and how were you able to handle it? Although I was not in real life, I was unable to settle everything. But look at my response. I said, yeah, there was a time I was leading a team of 4, and they don't submit report on time. They were not getting the concept. So I will have to do extra work and then correct their report. It was really slowing me down. Now look at my next statement. But I realized, I now referred to a book by, look at it. So yeah, I'm bringing out my reading abilities. I said, I realized in a book by Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, that sometimes you need to delegate, and then you need to understand that people don't work at the same. So this person is a reader. He knows that he acknowledges his shortcomings, and he's trying to fix it by reading a book. So I said that. I said so from that book, and that book really helped me a lot. And afterwards, I called a meeting and told them, okay, this is it. I realized that you are not learning at the same pace. For those that are learning at a lower pace, I organized a session for them, and then I ensured that I was a bit patient with them to ensure that everybody is on the same page. And that was how I was able to resolve it. That is how to answer behavioral questions. Ensure that you end with on a positive note. Let me say that again. Ensure that you do what? End on a positive note. State the challenges, but find a way to say you ended on a positive note. um Because that is very key. And that brings me to what we call the using of the STAR framework. Now, a lot of people, I do not know this method and they don't use it. For any interview you have, STAR method is very, very critical. And what is STAR method? Situation, task, action, and result. I told someone to use this and he was like struggling, and it really affected him in an interview. Now, why is STAR method very critical? Because it helps you to structure your answering of behavioral or behavioral, even technical questions. Yeah, technical questions sef. Alright. I will use STAR method for behavioral and I will use it for technical question as well now. So what is situation? Someone ask you, can you tell me a time you worked on a project and the results of that project? Now when they ask you that kind of question, what they're expecting from you is tell us the situation, tell us the task, tell us the action, tell us the results. So let me use myself as an example. I was asked in an interview, can you tell us about a project you worked on and what was the business implication? Now, I then remembered there was a dashboard I built that every company save about $1 million. I I have built a number of dashboard, but I know that that one, because of that money, you can see value $1 million. No interviewer will hear that and will not be amazed that, yeah, this is a great work. Yours might not be $1 million. It could be efficiency. It could be automation. It could be saving people a lot of time, a lot of stress. Sorry, 1 minute. It could be saving people a lot of stress. All right, stress in terms of um um manual work, manual computations. So let me now tell you how I handle that question. I said, oh, I work on a project. So situation first. The situation will be, oh, when I got to the team, I discovered that a lot of our report were still manual. We pick Excel from here, we pick some data from database. A lot people were complaining, people were having sleepless night to just prepare weekly reports. They will have to go do extra work on Saturdays and Sundays. And people were starting to break down. What is that? I'm telling them that the implication is worse. The situation is really, I'm telling them that if this is fixed, it's saving a lot of people earthwise. I mentioned that too. So the project, so sorry. So people were going through a lot of stress. People were going through a lot of, difficulties to complete report. And then when I got there, that I've finished situation now. What is now the task? I'm on task now. And when I got to the company, I discovered that yes, this can be because of my technical proficiency in SQL and Power BI and Excel. I was able to combine this skill. What are you talking about now? You are talking about your technical skills. You mentioned your technical skills already. The task is now, yeah, I was able to use my technical skill to curate or build an end-to-end interactive dashboard that is accessible to everyone. That is the task. Now, what is the action? And when I see that this would be a very good approach, I used I consolidated all the Excel files into a SharePoint folder and then wrote a complex query to consolidate the ones coming from database, and then using Power Query in Power BI, I brought in the data together and then do a lot of cleaning. You are talking about the actions, which and then after that came into Power BI and wrote complex measures like KPIs. Mention some of the KPIs: average time spent, average daily revenue. Mention some of the KPIs you built, which really saved the company a lot of time. Please, are we still here? Can I just hear your reactions? Just if you are enjoying the class, if you are getting value for your time, please just a reaction, love emoji. Let's know that we're on the same page. I'm not seeing it. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Okay, so that was, yeah, thank you. So that was the action. And what was the result? I said, and afterwards, I published that report. I published that consciously. Sorry, consciously ensure you follow this rule. So, and afterwards, I published that report to Power BI service, and everybody had, I gave access, maybe, or row level security. I give access to everyone that needs to have access. And from then, people testify results. People testify that now spend 2 3 hours more. It has increased their efficiency by 30%, and they can now, an error their it has reduced their errors levels of error by 50%, which cumulatively has helped the business to make better and informed decision faster, revenue faster, and improved the overall efficiency of the company by 40% or by 30%. Just quantify it. Simple. I've used that scenario to talk about the situation, the task, the actions, what are the things I did, and the result. Don't ever miss the result, because nobody cares. So that's why when I tell you guys that, yeah, I built a dashboard. It's not about the dashboard. What is the result? So nobody cares about what you've done. It is the actual result. So, and for you to master this star framework, it's not that easy to always, consciously or unconsciously, just get answer questions by default using the star method. So it means it has to be part of you. And I said at the beginning, before any interview, at least three, at least what? Three dry run sessions of yourself in front of the mirror, speaking, not just reading, speaking, so that you watch your utterances. Even in communications, one of the best ways to improve your communications is to stand, record yourself, listen to yourself, and look at where are the places I need to improve. So in behavioral questions, in business questions, even technical questions, master the star method. Focus on what? You can say I said focus on impact. Focus on impact. Not just, yes, I've done this, not just technical. Use real examples. So for the project you worked on, and then that way you also chip in other things, even soft skills, like when you collaborated, tell them, like that, and then quantify it, like I say 40%, 20 hours weekly, time saved, something like that. I just put an example here: difficult skills that project behind schedule due to frequently changing. You can see situation. Let's say the project is always behind schedule because of the changing requirement from marketing director. What was this task? The task was to deliver a project on time while managing task stakeholder expectations. What of the action? You schedule regular check-ins, you created change request process, you provided data support pipeline. What is the result? Project that are delivered 2 weeks late instead of project were delivered 2 weeks instead of 4. You implemented the and reduced scope changes by 60%. You can see now clear and actionable report result. And when we are talking about CVs in the next 2 weeks, we are also going to hammer a lot on this part, on quantifying your results. All right, when we get there, I wanted to make mention of something. Okay, maybe I should say it now. And then some of you say, I've been applying now. There are no results. Guys, application for interview is like a job. Let me repeat that. Application for an interview or for jobs is like a job. You take it like a job itself. What do I mean? You don't so let me give you an example. My sales guys were complaining that they were getting a lot of rejections. And I said that is normal. For you to win, all you need to do is increase the number of people you meet. So meaning when you increase your pool, you have higher chances. Remember probability. If you have been targeting, aiming a net, someone aimed the net 4 times and stopped, might not hit the ball into the net. But someone that has aimed at the net at 1,000, he could have like 4. And do you know, aside from that he has won, one other benefit of that is that you will learn. So that's one thing I've learned from, trying multiple times. You will learn. Funmi Alakija, Fọlọ́runṣọ́ Alakija made, no, Ìbùkún Awóṣìkà, former chairman of First Bank, said something. He said, "You cannot succeed without failure." So some of us are are scared of having rejections. Apologies, we cannot continue. Just say, after 10 applications, I'm tired. No, you cannot succeed without failure. One thing you learn when you do multiple, and then again, one thing is you have to assess yourself. If you apply for 10 jobs, no one called you. Now, I think last year I was applying for jobs. Nobody was calling me. And my guy, for some side gigs, nobody was calling me. And one of a friend of mine, he was applying, and almost every week he was getting. So what I did was, okay, guy, send me your CV. What are you doing differently? And then he gave me a secret. We will talk about that. I don't want to what's it called now? Reveal you now so that you'll be around. And then he gave me a secret and said this is it. And then things changed. So what am I trying to say? When you apply for 10, look at the results. If I'm getting the same result, what am I doing wrong? Ask ChatGPT. Ask people that are, you can chat me or something. What am I doing wrong? You assess it. Is it a skill gap? You assess it. So assess it, but you have to apply to many jobs. Ignore that. Sorry, we are sorry to say that you were not picked. Ignore that one. That's for them. Don't look at that. Just keep pumping in the numbers. Keep pumping in the numbers. Let me shock you. A colleague of mine, it was yesterday, he was telling us that he won an all expense paid trip to United States. True life story. I saw it on his what? On his phone. And he even got me lunch yesterday. Said I got an all expense paid trip to the United States to attend AWS conference. They will book for his flight. They will ensure that he has no visa issues. They will lodge him in a 5-star hotel, give him food, someone that has never traveled before. And then when I asked him, I said, how did you get it? He said he just saw it on LinkedIn. From the same LinkedIn we all use. He saw that application from LinkedIn, took his time, he never knew anybody, took his time to apply, and that was it. And I know a lot of us too, we would have seen a lot of people on LinkedIn and say, this person went for a conference in US. This person, you say, how come? This person is working with Google. How come? How were they able to get it? Guy, if you ask them how many rejections they've gotten, some of them will tell you over 1,000. So what am I saying this? Don't let a day go by without applying if you are looking for a job. Should I repeat that? Don't let a day go by. You don't limit to Nigeria alone. US, Finland, UK. Don't say, no, they are not. Remote is no longer visible. Keep putting it there. Now, let me share another story. Sorry for taking your time. I will soon be done. An HR guy on LinkedIn shared. He said there was this lady that every time she has been seeing her application, sending applications, but she was not qualified for that particular role. And do you know what he said he did? He said at a point he was like, who is this person? There is a level of consistency that you will have. People will notice your name. They will know your name. So he said, who is this person? This person is kept applying, but he's not eligible for this role. Do you know what he did? He now called another HR and said, guy, please, this person fits in more into your role. Can you please help me consider the person? He never knew that person from Adam. But because of consistency, he said, okay, no problem. We will fix her. All right. And then they called her direct, no application. Are you available? This and this and this and that. And that was how Oh yes, she was supposed to get that job, but she now fucked up again. She did not. I think she didn't do well in the interview or something. But of course, she got an invite. And then that took me back to my own self. I could remember in 2020, 20, in 2021, 2022, there are a lot of interviews I had that they would say, I would say, I didn't apply now. And they say, yeah, we got your CV from somewhere. But because of consistency, sorry, it's just like you posting on maybe posting consistently. Look at, for example, Rega, Daniel Rega. It was consistency. With time, they say, who is this person sef? Who is this person sef? When you keep knocking, knocking. So that's the takeaway. Ensure a day does not pass by without you applying. Finland, US, everywhere. A friend of mine got a direct job to UK. At that point, I said, in 2022, I was like, no, it's not easy. They will now sponsor your visa, they will do this. And they did it. I said, how did you see it? He said, I applied. Nobody. So please increase your pool of application so that you can increase your chances of what? Of selection. Let me repeat that again. Increase your pool of what? Application so that you can increase your pool of selection. Very important. Let me leave it there so that we can have time for questions. So like I said, STAR method, please go and master it. I'm begging again, please go and master it to answer behavioral technical questions. Let's just quickly go through this. STAR method helps you structure answer in a clear, concise way. See context now, for example. Describe circumstances where you demonstrated the skill in question. Example, in my previous role as a data analyst at Computernet, we were experiencing this, that is situation. And this, people were falling sick and report was taking time, we were not delivering, it was affecting our revenue. That's situation. Task. My responsibility was to improve the data validation process to reduce errors. That's your task. Action. I developed a Python script that automated the validation process and create documentation. Result. As a result, we reduce data errors by 75% and save approximately 10 hours per week. That is how you do STAR method. Master it make sense, and I can tell you, you will see a lot of, if you take what I'm saying in this live session seriously, you see, yeah, you will see a lot of changes. In 2021, I don't even know how many jobs I was applying for every day. Finland, Slovakia, I don't even check the country. And that was how one company, I nearly got that job. Is not, if not because they did not have enough fund to fly me in US. They just called me. We saw your CV. Where? I didn't know when I applied. They said, and that was it. So every day, my CV was everywhere. People just call me here. Can you, even some just trainings. Hello, we saw your CV. Someone's 4 days of CV. That is how it happen. When your name keep appearing constantly, and of course, like I said, not just applying bluntly. Ensure that you are what? Reviewing after 10 applications, after 15 applications, review. Is there any result? How many interview did I get? Okay, what am I doing wrong? Is there a skill gap? Improve on it. What am I missing? Before you know it, and the more interview you attend, the more you become better at answering questions. So sometimes it's even very good to attend interview for fun, even if you don't need that job, because you learn one or two things from it. I hope that's clear. All right, let's go to final tips. Final tips to win in interviews. Please, if you can jot this down. Pause before answering questions. Show thoughtfulness. Don't be too quick. Hey, don't be too be relaxed. And that is why if you have done 3 sessions in front of your mirror, your dry run, it will help you to kill anxiety, because you'll have to some extent, appreciable extent, mastered your chain of thoughts, your line of thought. So pause before answering. If talk, explain your thought process and ask for hints. Don't be ashamed to say, okay, I'm not sure I understand the question. I told you 3 days ago it still happened to me. I said, please let me take a pen and jot this question down, because he was just telling me orally. I said, I need to understand. And I asked a lot of questions. But when I was clear, you shouldn't be too much so that it won't be like, can't you comprehend well? But again, ensure you understand and listen. Summarize answers briefly before moving on. Show enthusiasm. You can see culture fit matter too. You can see that's what I meant when I said every interviewers have a sentiment. You are good, but can we see the energy? You are good. You have a good culture. Sorry, what did you say there? Sorry, 1 minute. A call came in. Those disorganized version. No, 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 no. Show that you want that job. Show the reason why they should get you. Was where we started the interview. Prepare 2 to 3 questions to ask the interviewers. Don't leave an interview without asking a question. I repeat, don't leave an interview without asking the interviewer a question. It shows some level of you want to take ownership. Say for example, you want to rent a house. All right. Say for example, you want to you say for example you want to rent a house, and you just go. If they tell you, this house is 1.5 million, we just take it like that. No, now you ask questions. Is there light? Oh, because that alone shows that, you want to take house, you are serious. You just say, it's 1.5, okay, thank you. What will the salesperson, the agent say? This guy is not serious. But when we say, is there light? How many times do you have light in a week? Okay. Do you have is there how much do you pay for this so big? No, that engagement shows that you really want to work in that company. Imagine asking the company, oh, how many people are in my team? What is the database like? Do we use SQL? I just want to understand, so that because my proficiency, so that I align my proficiencies, and if there are gaps, I can really catch up before, if peradventure I was chosen, I can really catch up before I resume. That alone is, okay, this person already preparing in case. That can create a kind of sentiment for the interviewer. Say, I think we should consider this person. He wants to work for us. Oh, I've seen the structure of the company, and I'm thinking, don't you think we should be a vertical structure? Just let them know that yes, really want to work there, not just okay. Is there any question? Yes, I'm fine, thank you. You just this one. Don't leave interviews without asking questions. All right. Review your resume and be ready to discuss any part. Don't worry. This one, next 2 weeks, we'll discuss it. Is a critical part. I have, what do they call it? I have, is it unlocking charm? Unlocking to a charm to unlock this. And you see the result. Practice explaining your project in simple terms. Get good sleep the night before. I tell people rest is part of interview. When you are too agitated before you enter an interview, it makes you, uncomfortable. Yeah, I think that's it. Before we take questions, let's quickly. I think I already answered it. The first question here is, what does the STAR acronym stand for? Situation, task, action, and what? Result. When approaching a technical question, you should please drop your questions. Joy, please collate those questions so that we can provide answers. By 7:30, we should be out of here, max. So let's please drop your questions so that Joy can collate them. I take it one by one. Immediately start coding the most efficient solution. When approaching a technical solution or question, you should what? Restate the problem and ask clarifying questions. Restate it. Ensure you get it, because technical things are not something you just guess. Ensure you understand the problem statement so that you can provide clear and simple explanation. The last question here is, how should you handle being stuck on a problem? When you are being stuck, how do you handle it? The answer is this: explain your thought process and ask for what? For hint. Explain what you are thinking of. When we say thought process, it's very important. So that's why sometimes pausing, when I said pause will allow you, organize yourself, your thought process. I want to start this problem, particular behavioral questions on my project. I want to start with the data source. I want to start it when my manager said there is a problem. I want to look at the tools so that you can organize yourself. It makes sense. But when you start just saying, then you go back again, then people don't understand what you're trying to say. Yeah, can I see our emojis if you've been a fruitful session for us? This will be the end of our session while I wait for questions in the comment section. So please, let me see your reactions if it has been a fruitful session for you. I want to believe if you apply all that I've said, all right, word for word and intently, you see results, and not long, very soon. So let me get our questions. Just type in your questions if you have any questions. Yeah, I will be waiting in the comment section. Thank you so much. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, Tosin. If you can scan through, okay, scan through again, right? What? Um, Everything is in the video will be recorded, but let me just scan through again. The first thing is first, when I discussed, ensure you are prepared. Research about the company first when you get an interview. And when you get that interview, the first thing you want to do is do at least 3 sessions in front of your mirror, asking yourself possible questions and answering them in front of a mirror. Do like 3 sessions. Follow the STAR method. Hmm? Follow the what? The STAR method. Which is situation, task, action, and result. When asking any question. Hmm? When you are lost, try and find a way to do what? To ask questions. Tell them, I need clarity on this. Then ensure that your thought processes are clear and easy to understand. So, all right. Ensure you organize your thought processes. And like I said as a tidbit, failure, there is no success without failure. Don't be scared of rejections. Apply to as many jobs as possible. Apply for one per day. Don't limit to Nigeria. Every country. Every country. A friend of mine applied to a job in South Africa, and normally I never believed that's possible. And currently is in the last stage. If that clicks, he's going to South Africa, moving, all expense paid. Nothing is impossible. You have to let that sink. So just start apply. Finland, UK, any country you see. So that's that about that. Then I also say I also talked about your technical questions. Ensure when you are answering technical questions, don't just answer the question straight away. Let's say, for example, how do you optimize a database? You just say, oh, you can use partitioning or indexing. No, explain why partitioning is important, why indexing is important, and why combining the two methods is good for efficiency. All right. Yeah, I think I've been able to reiterate. What other part? Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so Samuel says, what is the best approach to start applying for data analyst roles without an official job history? Just simulations. Great. That's a very good question. Sorry, one minute. Sorry, please. Um, the best way to so let me start by saying approach to start applying for data analyst. Now, I love examples. Something happened to someone as well this week. The person just joined a company and he made mention of something. I held it. I know already, so I just held it to my. I did as if I didn't hear that. He said, "I've been applying for job for so long." He said, "But I've only been applying for data analyst role. I've only been looking out for data analyst role." He said, "Not until I changed my thinking, I started applying for business intelligence analyst, product analyst, credit risk analyst, you know, data analytics role embedded in features." He said that was when what? I started getting interviews. So as a data analyst, your role is not just data analyst. You don't apply to data analyst alone. You apply to business intelligence analyst. You apply to business intelligence developer. You apply to analytics, maybe product analyst. There are a lot of names that is embedded in analytics. So apply to those training. Don't look at just data analyst, the name alone. Now, back to your question that you've not really gotten an official job, just simulations. Now, this is the way I would say you should go about it. First, show your projects. Let me give you an example. While I was with Ikeja Electric, that was when I started really learning data. And then after some 6 months, I approached my I approached my manager and I said, please, can I get some data, dummy data? All right, I can't use the real data, but dummy data is data that is close to, just for simulation. And I use that data to build an XGBoost model, data science machine learning model, XGBoost. I built that model and then communicated that result. Do you know that that project was what got me my first job? Because when I go for interview and say, okay, tell me about your experience, since it's the data of my company, all right, of a company, but not the real data, dummy data, all right, it's the dummy data, not the real data. I told them in interviews, I built an XGBoost model, all right. I built an XGBoost model that is able to predict if a customer will pay or will not pay. And this model, if applied, I simulated it, right? Because that's where I worked. And as at then, I was working as a compliance analyst, which means most times I'm on field to check meters and all that. But I use this model to say, okay, I simulated that model and see that if this model is implemented, it will reduce the level of energy theft. It will also increase revenue because energy sales rep will know areas they should go and collect money, and then they will also know how to distribute. Energy sales rep are responsible for knowing areas that should have more light or something. They will know how to distribute light better to areas that will pay. Because my model is a classifier model which says yes or no. Will this customer pay? Yes. Will this customer pay? No. From that model now, we can use that model to now train new customers. If there are new records, and say, okay, pull in new records with it, and then it will determine this customer that will pay, this customer that will not pay. But it's a simulation. I did the project, but application cannot be applied directly because I'm not working as a data scientist. But because of my field, I still kind of, because the inspiration came from my current role, I still kind of related it to the result. Are you getting me, Sam? So I still related it to the result I would get if it was implemented. And could you believe it? Even the interview I said I had some few days ago, I still mention that project because now I'm more into data engineering, and they asked me, have you, because he's a chief data officer, some kind of role, right? And I still told them, because and they needed you to have almost all experiences of data analytics, data science, and data engineering. So that was the project I mentioned to support my data science knowledge. This is now. So that is the way you can simulate your way to job. Hmm? Do those projects, relate it to where you are. You are an accountant, or let's say for example you are a clerk, you are an analyst. Look for a problem in that place, simulate the data. AI is here now that can, instead of asking for the dummy data, tell AI to generate that kind of data based on where you work, based on maybe you are just a front desk officer. All right, create a data with it, create a dashboard and say, based on what you know that dashboard can do, if you are an analyst in that company, and you want to solve problem for front desk officers, simulate that data and build a dashboard, let's say analysis, and build a dashboard that can help front desk people, and then use that to sell yourself. I don't know if you get it. If you get it, you do a thumbs up. Just do, or I want, so that is the way you route yourself, using your experience, your project into a job. And then the second thing I will talk about is start to train. Even if it is free, online. All my most of my guys that have gotten opportunities of recent, they were trainers. um It could be in your it could be at your work. Volunteer to just, maybe your colleagues, volunteer to just train them. I know exactly, I can teach you. You can do a small flyer and put it on your work group. I can train it. I know Excel very well now. Even you can get conversion in your current job, and then, wow, you know this much, okay, let's move you to this department. You become a data analyst there. Then from there you start your career. So let them know, train them. Because people, when you start train, first it will give you fresh. Secondly, people will think, yes, you are a master, because for you to train, it means you know it. It's just like our lecturers. Some of our lecturers in school, they will just see us Fortran, C++. But have they built any app? No. But do we see them as a veteran? We say, yes, that man is very good. He knows the work. But he's only good in explaining. Oh yeah, give him code to come and code and build an application. Zero. The same thing with training. People begin to see you as a statement. These are my guys, like my mentees, like three of them in the space of 1 year got got jobs. You know, because people now see them as, oh, I think this person is valuable, he knows what he's doing. Do a flyer. Even flyer, you can use Canva to show it. Even if it is in your church, do a flyer. You tell them you are a data analyst, although you are a front desk. Tell them you are a data analyst. Put that, share that flyer in your church. Tell them you are going to train them for free. Put that flyer. Put yourself there. Data analyst. Jimmy Odukoya. Put it there, and then let people see you, post it on your LinkedIn and say, wow, it's a data analyst. Those things gives you track record. First, it might first of all give you trainees. People will contact you, oh, you are a trainer, you're a data analyst. Yes, I can train you. Revenue is coming. When from there, you might start to get speaking engagement. People will invite you to speak, how to begin data. And I'm telling you because I have a lot of people like that, and they are getting gigs, real work. You think they've started working, they've not worked. And then from there, people start inviting you for events to talk about analytics. You have not worked in any company before. You are still a clerk, and that will open doors. So two ways, and if you apply it, it's a life changer. Okay, as a teacher, what kind of data can I work on, simulation or project? So what kind? So I've just explained one now, that look at your environment. For me, my environment is energy industry that time. I looked at the problem. The problem is a lot of people are stealing energy. You know, all these people that we bypass meter. And then there was a problem with a particular undertaking that time. They were not getting revenue from that undertaking. They were not getting revenue from that undertaking, right? But they discovered that energy, they were dispensing a lot of energy into that area. So, and then they are unable to unravel what is the cause. So that's the problem. I discovered that, oh, what if I built a model, not with the company, I'm not a data analyst with them, but I built a model that can predict those that will pay and that will not pay. That way, they will identify those that will pay. In that region, they know that, oh, this is the percentage of people, this is the percentage of people that can pay. If they have a percentage of 40 people that can pay, energy sales rep can distribute energy to other regions. All right. If they have lesser percentage of people that pays, and there are a lot of energy distribution to that region, what does that tell you? It means there is a lot of energy theft there. I told them in my interview that energy vigilance team, which are the people that will check if your meters are being tampered with, they will be able to catch a lot of energy theft people. Simulation. In my interview, I played it that way. This is the result. If we implement, this is the result. And then nobody that's it. So I hope that answers your question in terms of what kind of simulation or project. Look at your environment. Look at what is happening. So a guy on Twitter just developed a dashboard that shows the performance of Premier League. And that was how he started training people. He said, wow, find out you are doing well. Wow. So just not go stop building project on you maybe at the beginning. I've told you, stop building project on what's it, cargo data. One lady was talking about how we have mesmerized Titanic data, sales performance data. These are data that are available. No, go out there, scrape the web, use the Python to scrape the web and get your data. There are even some tools that you don't need to code. They will just plug it in. I think I was seeing one for TikTok, Apify or something for TikTok, that you can just plug your data, plug the website, the link to the website too, and then you scrape TikTok, and then you analyze. These are interesting things that people will see and say, wow, please come and teach me. And that's it. When you start teaching, you are a data analyst now. Before you know it, you apply, you tell them your wins. So you get it now. So that's how yeah. I don't know if there's any other question. Muritala, I hope I answered your question. Okay, great. Okay. I will just hold on we have just 3 minutes left. Let me see if there's any other question. But if there is none, I think it's been a fruitful session. There are 2 sessions now. The first one that we missed, and then this other one. So get set for the session next 2 weeks. It's going to, it's going to blow your mind. You know what I've discovered? People, this little information, you stick to them. People think results are hard. Results are really reproducible. You can reproduce results only if you follow these things. As little as this thing is, you just see that things just start changing. But if it's someone that is lazy, that don't want to execute, I don't know. All right. I think that will be all from everyone. Thank you so much for your time. I will see you on CV. Please get set for that session. It's going to be a mind blowing session. I think that should change it forever. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. That will be the end of our sessions. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Do have a great night. Bye.